Are we go ahead and start the recording?
It's going.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, you guys, we have a treat tonight. So much of what we do with Juice Plus is such a journey of personal growth. And I'm excited that we get to hear from Vicki McGonegal tonight, who has had an amazing growth journey over the years. She's been with our company. I'll let her tell you that here in a little bit, but for a really long time. And I've just seen her grow and change and really embrace just being a lifelong learner, and a lifelong learner with what we do with Juice Plus and with the Tower Garden. I actually talked with Stephen Ritz the other day about Vicki, and he was like, oh my gosh, I love that woman so much. She is just always willing to grow and learn and is just such an amazing example for our community. So I'm excited just to have a conversation with her, and I hope that what you get is that, each of us starts in their own place when we start with Juice Plus, and we might have been here for even years, and there's still more growth to be had. And I do love our company because they just pour into us in so many different ways, and it's just such an amazing part of what we do. This community allows people to grow and change over time, and I think I just really have seen that with Vicki. So I am just going to let you guys hear from her. I've got a few questions that I wanted to ask her. So Vicki, I just adore and love you, and I just you're like a friend and a mom to me in so many different ways, and I'm grateful that you're in my life. So thank you so much for being willing to be interviewed today and kind of share your journey with the rest of the group here. So thank you. So first off, how did you feel? And it's been a while. How did you feel when you got started? And did you have any struggles or, have any fears that you had to overcome?
Oh yeah, many.
Don't know, right?
And none are real new to any of us who started out. I met Melanie 10 and a half years ago. She's a friend of my daughter's, and I was in Steamboat out helping with the birth of our new twins. And Melanie came over one day, and just in chatting, I found out that she had a very simple solution to a problem that I had been unsuccessful with, and that was getting my husband to eat any vegetables for 30-some plus years at that time. So the whole concept of Juice Plus made sense to me. So over the next 3 years, Melanie would check in with me. I signed up. She'd say, well, are you ready to come and be on the team and work with me? And I would politely decline, say, no, I'm happy taking my fruit and veg. We're doing real well with it. And so finally, one day, she called, she chatted, she'd just been to conference, and I said, well, tell me all about it. And do you remember this? You said to me, I can't possibly tell you everything and teach you what happens at conference. It's truly something you have to come in and experience, make your own takeaways, and then work them into what's comfortable for you. So I acquiesced, and I said, okay, I'll come next time. Well, it was true. You just can't impart. And I'm so thankful that she just kept checking on me and seeing if I wanted to participate. So I remember then, shortly after that, Reagan started just some of those, we actually had a daytime team call. And we were being taught how to introduce Juice Plus into a conversation, which quite honestly, I just was not comfortable at all. I still struggle with it. But I found out when I had a question to ask Melanie, she'd say, well, Reagan says, and so I figured I was at least once removed from the person that had all the answers, which was Reagan. So I'd ask my questions, and Melanie would just say, just do this one little thing. And so I would go out and do it. My personal development has been that I've never been a global thinker or a big picture thinker. I work much better if I can break the end goal down into small goals. And Melanie, you and Reagan have let me do that. I'm far better thinking, well, you would say, well, just get to DD. You only need a couple of people. And so I'd say, well, okay, that's manageable. I can do that. And I'd go out and do it. And then it was a little something else. Well, just work to get to VF. And that seemed like a big jump, but you helped me break it down, and I did it. And then everything started to knit a little bit better for me. I still am not comfortable in initiating conversations. But one day at conference, Tim Blaine was introduced. And there was a lot of buzz about the Tower Garden. And I was super excited about that because I was a gardener. It made sense to me. It was something that I could talk about. So I bought one, played with it a little bit, went to conference again. And then this tall, lanky, enthusiastic person walked onto the stage and started talking about what he was doing in classrooms and how he was turning kids around just simply through gardening and capturing their enthusiasm in a classroom that he hadn't been able to do with his traditional teaching methods. And I thought, I was always interested in early childhood education. Actually worked at a Montessori school when mine were little. And I thought, this just makes perfect sense to me. And so that's kind of how it's evolved. I was terrified of everything. I didn't have, when I first started, it was get a why, and your why needed to make you cry. I didn't have a why. And even today, it wouldn't make many people even sniffle. I didn't know any verbiage. I didn't know the connection between raw fruits and vegetables and how it assisted the body to be healthful. So I wasn't afraid. I think I was too naive and too ignorant to be afraid. But I plugged in, I tuned in. I heard what Patty and Bobby were doing. She was speaking to LPGA, and I thought, wow, you've got a great platform. And you know, Susan and Judy, they were rocking it out there with their different their Toasters Club meeting that they do. I didn't know anything about that, but I became a better listener to what people were doing, what they were having success in saying, and learning to laugh at when it just didn't go well. I don't know if you remember my first thing. I got real brave. I was in an aquatics class, and I'd met a few of the people. We'd had some big training session, and I was all on fire, and I was swimming in a lane with this guy and talking about what he liked to do. And he finally asked me what I did, and I told him it was into nutrition. It was simple. It was just fruits and vegetables in a capsule. He looked at me and he swam across the pool. Remember that?
Yep.
I had to laugh at that. And after that, I thought, okay, I don't have to swim by him anymore. So I just tried to keep a perspective. And I think that this company has taught me, plugging in with all of you, how to find my lane, how to learn to work from my strengths and not worry about my deficiencies. And once I figured out, even when I am talking to people now on the health and nutrition side, I do know more than they know.
Yeah.
But I don't feel as comfortable if I get someone who wants to challenge me. And that kind of will shut me down. Even though I'll know the answers, But with the Tower Garden, nobody knows about the Tower Garden.
Right.
And they hang on to what you say. So that's really where my lane has developed. I'd say, what, last 3 years? Last 4 years.
Yep.
Last 4 years.
And even I've seen you grow so much. So for those of you that don't know Vicki and what she's been doing with Tower Gardens, Vicki, how many schools do you think you have Tower Gardens in now?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I would say this way. I probably have placed about 30 some Tower Gardens in schools.
Right.
Some ones, some twos, 1 4, 1 6. Those are kind of far and few between. But I do know that approximately just with the Rotary, because I counted this up, I've got a presentation with the Rotary tomorrow, that there's almost 7,000 students in about 8 schools that are benefiting from having a Tower Garden in their classroom day after day,
wow,
week after week, year after year. That's a lot of kids to touch.
Yeah, that's amazing, Vicki, what you're doing and the legacy that you're leaving and all the kids that you're touching by just being brave and going in and talking at these Rotary clubs. So a lot of what Vicki is doing is going in and having Rotaries fund Tower Gardens, and then she goes and finds a school that's like, she gets to gift Tower Gardens to and go in there and help them get going. It's really, really incredible, you guys, what she's doing. She's gone from being scared to go talk to the receptionist at an elementary school to
I wouldn't talk on the phone when we didn't even have face-to-face.
Yeah, and to doing presentations in front of hundreds of people about the Tower Garden. So she's found this mission that she really connects with, and it's just her lane, like what she was saying, like what she really, really loves and where she can leave a legacy. And Vicki, although you don't look a day over 42,
thank you.
Yes. How do you have the energy? How do you keep your energy up to do all of this?
I think that you had asked me what motivated me, and I really have struggled with that, and I really don't have a good answer. But I would say being connected with a group of people that the positive reinforcement that we get, the camaraderie, as I said, the learning and hearing what somebody else is doing. Like Diane, who is a teacher and has been writing all those grants, remember?
Right.
She came on and she said, yeah, I got a grant for 25 towers. And I was like, dang, I think I had sold about 12 then. And I was like, that'd be a good goal to go after. I'll get 25 towers. So onesie, twosie, that's what I've done. Now she did just share with us that she got some $25,000 grant for schools. I don't think I'm gonna be able to wrap my head around that one, but
you never know when you put your energy out there. That's one thing. That's one thing about Vicki, is that she always resets the goals.
So, and I'm very goal oriented. When we would have those games, and it would be, okay, you had 30 days and you got to go, whatever we were doing, those different games. You had to talk to so many people. And I said, okay, 30 days, I'll do it. And I always grew from that. But it isn't in my nature to get up and say, okay, I'm not coming home until I've talked to 10 people today. Some days I don't come across any people in what I do. So, and I think success motivates everyone. Mm-hmm. So I remember during the summer, early summer it might have been, we were having a chat and I was like, well, I've talked to everybody I know and nobody's interested. And you said, sometimes you just need a win. You remember that?
Yep.
And I said, yeah, that's right. So I thought you'd stroked me. And then you said to me, do you remember what you said to me after that?
I don't remember.
Go out and find it. Find my win. And I thought,
You're a person that
I'll show you.
Because I just, here's the thing about Vicki. She's willing to take feedback, reevaluate, and then go out and try something new. Get right back on the horse when she has a failure, or it doesn't go her way, or whatever it is.
Or spend a lot of time.
I think that's why, and how she's grown so much over the years, is that she stays plugged in. She stays close to the fire. She comes to all the conferences, even when she has to travel all the way across the country to get there. She shows up. She shows up for the team. She's always here. She's always willing to help, and she's really just so committed to this mission. She's committed to herself and what she's doing and making this world a better place for future generations. And she's really just so connected to that she just keeps on going. And I'm like, Vicki doesn't need to be doing this. What the really neat thing
I'm in my golden years.
I do have to say that there are not many people like you out there, Vicki, that have the energy to do this. And I do believe that that's a lot of, what our community has to offer is.
I think it's the emotional. It's more the
grow through all ages and stages of our lives.
Yeah. I think for me also, it's more the emotional effort that goes into it.
Yeah.
This past summer, and actually, the one thing that really has exploded for me was, I remember when Patty, when the team was doing those Freedom Revolutionary calls, remember, and we were talking about the product and telling our story.
Yep.
And you had called me and said, oh, well, we'd like for you to participate. And you knew that I would say no. I have no trouble saying no to you. So you had Reagan call me. And I was like, oh, sure, I just love to do that, Reagan. And then Patty called me one time and she said, look, I don't need you to do a lot. Somebody can't do it. Just get on and talk about the complete, and 5 minutes you can be off the phone. I said, okay, I'll do it. And so it's those short-term experiences that others on the team have seen potential, I guess, in me. That either I didn't want to recognize or I didn't want to do it. And those couple of times that I said, okay, I'd participate. The next thing I knew, my sister had called me and said, my garden club has a lot of money and we don't want to have to work. We just want to donate it to an educational cause. I told them that you'd come down and show us your tower garden. Will you do it? So I said, sure. I was supposed to be just show the tower garden, tell what it was, and then they had a speaker that was going to do, the rest of the presentation. Well, I get down there, actually a couple about 4 or 5 days before, she called me and she said, hey, guess what? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. She said, guess what? The main speaker has conflict and she can't come. You now have 40 minutes. I was terrified. That's the first time I put together a PowerPoint. And I go down. I had to go to Virginia Beach, spend the night. And so I said to my sister, I said, okay, I think I'm prepared. I've made a PowerPoint. Would you like to see it? And she said, yeah, fired up. We looked at it. And then she turns to me and she said, so is that all you've got? And I said, yeah, why? She said, well, I hope you're not going to just put the PowerPoint up and read it. We can all read, Vicki. And so I thought, oh, well, this is just going to go great. So when they introduced me, I got up. I thought I was all prepared. I was so terrified. I thought for sure they could hear my heart beating in the back. And so I forgot everything I was going to do, even my thank you, who the president was, to thank her. And so I just walked over to the Tower Garden and I looked at it and I turned around and I said, the question that I get asked most is, what is the Tower Garden? And I had like 60 people there. And I said, in the hands of a teacher, a Tower Garden is just magical, and I'll show you why. And I went in and I plugged it in, and everybody was like, oh, and then all started chatting. And by the time it quieted down, I'd collected myself to where I could go on and do the presentation. Once I got started, it was fine. But to this day, when I go and I speak to the Rotary, that's my introduction. It just gives me those couple of minutes to get myself grounded. And once I get into it, I'm okay. But I'm not a public speaker. I don't like it. I don't like, for any of you on this call that say, well, you know, I have leadership qualities, but I prefer not to use them. Well, hang in with this company long enough and you will become a leader in all aspects of the message that you're trying to share. It's just the natural evolution. I truly, truly believe that.
Oh my gosh, Vicki.
Isn't it true?
It is so true. And
it's so
you are
true.
such an amazing example of sticking with it and using the resources and just of this awesome company and allowing it to happen. And here's the thing, if you didn't hear this, Vicki said, she says yes when she gets afraid. She's like, oh, that's not in my comfort zone. I'm not a public speaker, all that kind of stuff. And she figures it out. And it might not look like some professional, like incredible, you know, main stage speaker, you know, speaking in front of millions of people. But guess what? She goes out there and she does it. And now I'm sure she does look like a professional speaker.
You get used to it. I'm never going to be absolutely, and that's how this whole Rotary thing evolved. Rotary has a presence, a civic presence in every community that they're in, and they're very committed to school-based. Whether they're giving funding for a playground, if there's some sort of need, the schools will go to the Rotary. It can be the Lions Club, it can be the Optimist Club, any of those civic organizations. And one year, about 4 years ago, I said to my husband, I said, your Rotary Club puts on a whole Memorial Day weekend carnival. They close the town down, and you know, jewelry makers, any kind of vendor can purchase a little booth. And I said, do you think the Rotary would fund a Tower Garden? And he said, I'll give you the form, write it up, and I'll present it for you. And that's how this whole funding arm started. Because one of the things that I do, I now print out the public and local schools in my area, because they will list the principal, the assistant, the resource teacher, and so on down. And I've made a little introductory email that I introduce myself. I've been helping schools bring 21st century technology into the classroom with Tower Gardens. It supports STEM and STEAM education. Would you be interested in opening a conversation to see how you might bring Tower Gardening into your classroom? I have, some of you have seen this. I made this little form, and it's just, I called it Tower Gardens are hands-on teaching tools. And I've got 5 things that are happening in schools when Tower Gardens are there. And I will attach that with my introductory email. I always copy the principal's assistant because that's who's keeping her on track and bringing new things to her attention. And then I've even sometimes mailed it to the assistant so she had a hard copy. And then I just follow up. I went and spoke with the schools, stopped in. On the days where I feel super empowered and I have my cape on, I go with my iPad. I have it already pulled up, the little what the Tower Garden does in 4 weeks and how the Tower Garden works. I tell them I need about 3.5 minutes of their time. Would they just take a peek at this? And of course, they're all excited about it. Then I go home and I'll do this. One thing I am good at is I love the follow-up. And so I had stopped in to a school up in Northern Virginia where I actually lived in the community for 19 years. Last spring, did the same thing. The assistant principal was there and he said, send me the information. Never heard. I'm trying to capitalize right now on the fact that school is starting. The teachers aren't in session yet here. They won't be until after Labor Day in Virginia. But now is when when the principals have their funding. I also recently learned from an Arlington school that called me and said, we heard about Tower Gardens from my husband. He's a Rotarian in the Arlington Club. I have X number of dollars left. I have till Tuesday to spend it. Can you get Tower Gardens ordered that fast? I was like, oh, just watch me. So principals actually have a discretionary income that they can use. And this teacher had extra money left over. So all these little conversations are starting to give me a knowledge base on where money can come from also. I asked the principal if she has a local business partner in the community that helps fund projects in the school. Ask her what her PTA funding is. Can we go to the PTA for any part of it? So those little types of things have been an accumulation over the years. And now that they're going to be, hopefully we'll put a Tower Garden in a middle school in Vienna, where we'll have all the bases covered. Here they're in pods. They call them pods. I don't know if in your states they do, but all of the schools from elementary through high school, they have these different meetings throughout the year where they come together. So this conversation about what's going on in Vienna schools is now really traveling out. Mm-hmm. And so the last school I was just at.
Hey, Vicki.
Yep.
You have so much information about Tower Gardens.
Like you have about the Juice Plus.
I know. And you have been such an awesome resource. I just want to be respectful of everybody's time. It's already 6 after.
Oh, gosh, sorry.
But I want to say thank you, you guys. Vicki, you're just a wealth of information. You are such a gem and a beautiful angel out there in the world, reaching so many children's lives. And that 7,000 I know is going to reach up to 10,000 probably by the end of the school, end of December here. I just know because you're so passionate about it. You're so knowledgeable, and she's willing to figure things out. She's willing to go and ask questions and just be a light in her community and a resource in her community for figuring out, how can we get these into schools? And she's not afraid to ask the questions. So you're great.
You're having the same success.
Yeah, no, I've taken, so here's
Jen,
such a great role model that I've taken what she's been doing and taking it to my own Rotary Club and got 6 towers funded just just recently. So it is a great model. And so if you guys ever need questions about Tower Gardens, Vicki, can I say you'd be willing to vox our people or have a conversation? Is that okay?
It's better to text me. I'm not real good at the Facebook, and I haven't been paying much attention lately to my Voxer. I'm behind.
That's okay. So text Vicki if you need her number. You can reach out to me. I'm happy to connect you guys. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So thank you. We love you so much. You're such an awesome role model for all of us.
I'll see you in a month, you guys.
So
thanks, Vicki.
Thanks, Vicki. You're amazing.
Yep. Did a great job, Vicki. Thank you,
Hope y'all have a great evening.
Are you coming, Patty? Can you guys come to conference?
God willing, but we'll see what happens with
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Bobby.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Vicki. You did a great job.
Great job.
And
Great job, Vicki. You're amazing.
Vicki, by the way, you were awesome when you did the healthy living, freedom revolution that we did. You were awesome.
I had a stomach ache for a week. I did.
Oh, you're the
Don't sick Reagan on me anymore.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Vicki. I am so interested in doing this in my community, and I could have listened to you for another hour.
Are you going to be at a conference?
I am. I've got our Airbnb, we've got our tickets, we've got a plane flight, everything. So I'm excited.
I'm getting the flight tonight. So we'll talk there.
Okay, I would love that.
Okay. Or anytime. Anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you for your time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Why are you there?